Guys, welcome back to another video. So at the second Tokyo CS last weekend, we finally got the last two OP9 leaders in Buggy and Shanks, and I think it's fair to say that we're all a little tired of the OP8 meta at the moment. So we're all looking forward to new cards, new leaders and everything. And now that we have all the leaders that we will be getting in OP9, I want to take a quick look and just do a quick little ranking, right? Do a fun little tier list, see what we think, look at all the leaders, look at their effects, talk about them real quick, and do just a quick little. These predictive tier lists really don't mean much because we have like zero information. We literally just know the leaders, but they're fun and I like doing them, so we're gonna do one. But yeah, let's get started and let's jump right in. All right, so I'm gonna go in the order that they came out. At least I think this is the order that they were released in. So first we have Lim, and if you don't know who Lim is, you're not the only one. It's a character from the One Piece Odyssey game that came out. I don't even remember, like last year or something. She's a green purple leader for life, 5,000 power, wisdom, Odyssey trait. Your characters enter play as rested. And then activate main once per turn. You may rest 3 of your Dawn. Set up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. Then play a 5 cost or lower Odyssey type character from your hand. Now this would mean that it does get played rested, which is like, okay, cool. You got a ramp, rested ramp, and you played a 5 cost or less, which on paper sounds kind of strong. But I think we're all kind of just seeing this and going like, this is the... You know, there's always 1 or 2 leaders every set that's just like kind of not that good or just, you know, lacking a little bit. And I think this is the one for OP9. So just quickly, this is my tier list. Probably really good, has potential, needs support, kind of slash IDK, like I'm really not sure. And then probably bad, womp womp. Lim, I'm sorry, you're going in there. I just don't like... We have seen a few cards, a few of the like Odyssey cards that are coming out, but I don't know. This would take like a miracle to make it really good. Not a miracle. I shouldn't say that. Like, we don't know. Just right now, she doesn't seem very good. She doesn't even have that much potential, so I can't even put her there. But it's like probable, but not likely, right? Let's just put it that way. Okay. Next, moving on to Blackbeard. This is obviously Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard. He's a mono black, 5 life, 5,000 power, special, 4 Emperors and Blackbeard Pirates. Your on-play abilities don't activate. Just plain and simple, that's the first part of his effect. Your on-play abilities do not activate for your characters or anything, right? Activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent's on-play abilities don't activate. So it's kind of like really cool, really fun effect that kind of fits the lore. And this is, in my opinion, Bandai's way of saying like, okay, we overtuned black for like 4 sets in a row. They have way too many combo cards that they can just chain that have on-play effects, like Moria into Rebecca into Spandine into Lucci into blah blah blah, right? Like there's so many crazy things that black can do just because every time they get a decent card that has an on-play effect, they can chain it, and like as long as Moria's there, he can chain the other on-play effects like with Rebecca and Spandine and whatnot. So I really appreciate Bandai looking at that and going like, what if we made a black leader that just literally cannot use on-play effects? And they're like, yeah, ship it, let's go. Rip it and ship it, baby. But in order to make up for that, the effect is really strong. You can trash a card from your hand, and the next turn, your opponent's on-play abilities don't activate. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's going to be very interesting. I think this is going to shake things up. If I were to place him in the tier list, honestly, we've seen a few of the Blackbeard cards, and he's got a searcher already. And Von Augur is pretty good because he's like on KO, draw a card. So we're already seeing him getting kind of the support that he needs. I would put him in has potential, but I think I'm going to put him at probably really good. And I'm keeping these tiers very vague and like not super serious because there's no way for us to really know, right? Lim could be best deck in format for all we know. I don't think that's going to happen, but Blackbeard's effect will, like, at the very least, is strong. And it's kind of like people are relating it to Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, right? Because it's a very like Yu-Gi-Oh-esque effect, and other card games obviously have negate powers, and this is the first one that we're like really seeing in One Piece, besides that one like purple Zephyr card. But yeah, he's going to be strong. I think he's going to deny a lot of leaders and a lot of decks, and it's going to be very hard to play around it. Like, Enel is going to have a hard time, if not impossible time, trying to beat Blackbeard. And there are a few other ways to, like, you know, there's definitely going to be ways to play around him. So I don't know, like, if you just gave us Blackbeard and you put him up against OP9 Law, like, unless Blackbeard just has some crazy support, I still think Law would be way better. I don't think he's good enough to, like, really shake up the meta too much, but we have bans and restrictions coming out, and it will be good into black. So if like Blackbeard could keep Lucci down, and if Law's out of the picture, then Blackbeard definitely has a shot of being like, I don't know, I see him being like immediate tier 2 1.5, and then just depending on how good his support is and how the meta changes around him, tier 1 possibly. So that's my prediction on that. Moving on to NICO Robin. Really cool leader here, and actually now that all of them have been revealed, the one I'm most anticipating and excited to try out and play. So her effect, she's a purple yellow leader, 4 life, 5000 power, strike, straw hat, pirates, banish, just banish, which is awesome. There's another leader that has a really cool keyword, and it's called Yamato, and it's just double attack. So this is my favorite leader. I love Yamato's effect. So seeing Robin and it just saying banish made me a very happy person. When attacking, this is the second part. When attacking, you may trash one card with a trigger from your hand, add up to one Dawn card from your Dawn deck, and set it as rested. So trash a trigger, ramp an rested Dawn. The second part of the effect is like, yeah, it's alright, you know, and it's when attacking, right? It's not activate main. Activate main would probably be a bit stronger. When attacking, ramp Arrested Dawn. It's you know, I like it though, because it forces you to like, it's like, okay, you gotta run triggers. You gotta run triggers in this deck if you really want to utilize the full effect, and that's cool because triggers are fun, but they also create weaknesses, and a lot of them don't have counter, like Hignojo, and I mean, there's a lot. There are a lot of cards that do have counter with trigger though. I mean, there's always like the Satoris, the Crackers, all that. But it does shape the way you kind of want to and have to play the deck, and I think it's going to be really strong. It is a 4 life leader, and we haven't seen anything that will really like make this super cracked, and with some of the early testing that's been going on, she seems really strong. Again, it's like, it seems like she's going to be really strong into certain leaders, but a leader like Blackbeard, yellow and purple is basically all on play effects with your, I don't know, after like, even from like 5 Dawn, like Queen is on play, right? Then you have like the new 9 cost purple mom, obviously Yamato, Ace, all these things are on play effects. So I think she's gonna be exactly like Yamato, where there's the leader itself is really strong. The deck building, like the way you can deck build is going to be very wide, and like you can make tons of different kinds of builds, but there are going to be inherent weaknesses and stuff within the just the way the leader works, and it being a 4 life leader. So I think that makes it really balanced though, and pretty cool. So because if a leader with banish on it was too cracked and like too OP, that would be bad. Like, let's just be honest. Just like if Yamato was too good, it'd be the most annoying thing to play against, right? But yeah, that's just my opinion. And moving on, we have Monkey D. Luffy, purple black, 4 life leader with 5000 power, strike, Yonko, 4 emperors, and straw hat pirates. Dawn ×1, your characters have +1 cost. I think this is huge, by the way. And then the other part is, during your turn, once per turn, when 2 or more Dawn cards are returned to your Dawn deck from play, set up to 1 from your Dawn deck as active and up to 1 from your Dawn deck as rested. So kind of confusing, but when you return 2 or more, you get 1 back active, 1 back rested. That's like the skinny of it. And when you have a Dawn on your leader, all your characters have +1 cost, which again, I think is huge. I think that's, they kind of just like took what was not so great about this leader, the starter 14 Luffy, which I think is decent, but just kind of lacks a lot of utility within its own leader effect and stuff. This one kind of takes care of that, and not only adds the kind of like the plus cost. This one gives you plus 1,000 to your own leader, right? So I know it's different, but I'm just trying to make a comparison here. I think like just knowing that, okay, my 4 cost Borsalino is now a 5 cost. So like Amaru, Homurasaki, Flame Split, can't touch it anymore. My 5 costs are now 6 costs. Like Lucci doesn't get all those free KOs that he normally would have gotten, right? I think it's really, really strong. I don't know exactly. I think we need to see some more support on this one, but I think just off rip, man, he's gonna be pretty strong. I'm gonna put has potential here. He could be probably really good. You know what? I'll throw him a bone. Screw it. We're just, you know, this is a predictive tier list. I don't think there's a lot of weight going into this. There should never be too much weight going into any of these, right? But yeah, I'll put him in probably really good. Let's see, we can change things if we want to. All right, moving on. We got Buggy. So everyone was really, really excited for this, and people had the craziest ideas for what this was going to be. They were like speculating the Exodia, the alt win con, all that kind of stuff. But I agree with what other people are saying, where it's like you don't want Buggy to have an alt win con or like to be too much of an annoying deck. Because like I just look at Blue Nami, right? I mean, I think it's good that they went with like it's very interesting and it's a very unique effect, but it's not anything like too weird or too out there, right? I think that because if it wasn't very good, no one would play him. He would just be like, oh, that's funny, he's kind of cool, but no one would play him. And if he was too good, it would be annoying and they'd have to like immediately ban something, right? So I'm glad they kind of went down the middle here. So blue leader, 5 life, 5,000 power, slash, 4 emperors, and cross guild. So nice, cross guild. Activate main. You may rest 5 Dawn and discard 1 card from your hand. Play up to 1 character with the cross guild type from your hand. So no cost stipulation there, which is kind of crazy. So you can, I mean, this means you can play potentially 8, 9 cost, 8, 9, 10 cost for 5 Dawn. If there are 10 cost cross guild characters that come out in the set on your 10 Dawn turn, if you have 2 cards that you're willing to get rid of from your hand, you can rest all 10 and play those 2 10 costs. Now keep in mind, this is a 10 Dawn 4 card transaction happening here, because you need 2 cards that you have to trash to play each character, and then the 2 cards that you'll be playing from your hand. So yes, on paper that sounds really strong, but it's kind of like Blackbeard, where it's like, well, if you use the effect every single turn, like you're gonna run out of cards in your hand, and resource is so huge in One Piece, especially I feel like in OP08 and going into OP09. I think card resources and board advantage is gonna be just even more important than it ever was before. Like you can see it with Red Purple Law, right? Like board advantage is very, very strong, but even in like a Red Purple Law mirror, the one who tends to find the Reijus and get those extra cards for the end game just normally ends up winning. So I think that kind of shows you that card advantage and the ability to do different things is so important. So if you just, yeah, you got 2 10 costs on the board, but if they can get rid of 1 or 2 of them and then you have 1 card in your hand for the rest of the game, like that's not very strong, right? So I can see the downsides, but that's like an extreme situation. Sometimes, right, if he has good draw mechanics, and yeah, you can play Pilaf, so he's already going to have whatever draw mechanics we already have, he's already going to have access to them. I'm going to put Buggy here and has potential, because I do think he does. I think he has potential. Even if we just get like a 6, 7, 8 cost cross guild, just being able to play them out for less, if we're able to draw enough cards, will be very strong. It'll just be like, you know, trash a card, play this 8 cost Mihawk for 5 Dawn, right? So if saving the Dawn and cheating out those characters very early too, right? Because on your 5 Dawn turn, if you can play 8 or 9 cost, that's going to be huge. Like this is going to be in my eyes like a tempo, like a tempo driven deck, obviously, right? Because you're trying to play things out early, and like a tempo, I don't know if I could call it control or anything, but like a tempo based heavy hitter deck or something, right? That's kind of what I see it as, which is cool. It's a little bit different than what blue normally is, so that's very fun to see. All right, on to our last one here. And I've had a myriad of different thoughts about this leader, so I'll go over it. But first, let's do his effect. Shanks, red leader, 5 life, 5,000 power, slash Yonko, 4 Emperors of the Sea, red hair pirates. Once per turn, you may activate this effect when your opponent attacks. Give up to one of your opponent's leader or character's power minus 1,000 for the turn. All right. And just to clarify, because I know there's like so many people who don't understand how this effect works, because people who can't read Japanese are like seeing the leaders like Bonnie and stuff, where it has the like bubble, the blue bubble or whatever, where it's like on your opponent's turn. No, it doesn't have that, but it clearly states you can only activate this when your opponent attacks. And the only time that your opponent can attack is that we know of, that I know of so far, is on your opponent's turn. So don't get too lost in the weeds on this. You cannot activate this on your own turn, and it's only once per turn. It's because I think that's what threw people off, is because they're like, well, once per turn, that means I can use it on my turn. It's like, yes, technically, if your opponent could attack on your own turn, then sure, you could use it, but they can't. So it's just on your opponent's turn once on your opponent's turn when they attack. Okay, so in that way, it is similar to Bonnie. It's just written slightly different. I know they have changed a few, like some of the ways they write things. I think they've changed over the past couple months. And I don't know if it's to make it easier for people to understand. I have heard something like that before, which would make sense. It does. I think this might be a little bit clearer in the Japanese. Obviously, people who can't understand Japanese, it might be confusing. I understand that. Just please know, it's only when your opponent attacks once. That's all you should have to worry about, more so than like, don't get the once per turn. Don't let that like trip you up. All right. So when I first saw this, I thought it was terrible. Not terrible, but like, I wasn't impressed, right? I'm still not super impressed, but I do see the potential in it. Here's the thing. I wanted, like, I love Shanks. I love Shanks as a character. He's been done dirty so many times in the One Piece TCG already. So I'm sure, like me, so many people thought like, okay, he's gotta have like a crazy effect, like leader effect, just coming out the gate. To make up for all the wrong they've done to him. And here's the thing, the leader effect is not bad. I was just expecting something that was like so good, like Blackbeard's effect, like something just kind of like, ooh, this could be like groundbreaking kind of a thing, right? Is giving your leader or character minus your opponent's leader or character minus 1,000 groundbreaking? No, it's not at all. Have effects like this worked in the past, like with the original Purple King, or cards that do this and stuff? Like, no, not really. They haven't been strong enough, right? Like, look at Karasu, which is a really, really strong card in red. It's not good enough, right? So that was my initial fear, was just like, I just don't see it being good enough. However, it is nice that especially in the early game, yeah, you're getting free counters, right? You're getting potentially a free 1k counter every single turn when your opponent's attacking you. But here's the thing, it's only 1k. If it were 2,000 power, like leader character minus 2,000 power, I think it would be kind of cracked. I think it would be probably too good, which is unfortunate, because since it's only 1,000, all you have to do is put a Dawn on there, and you're still having to counter out with either the 1k or the 2k that you have in hand, right? Now, if you have just a 1k for every single time that you would counter out of a 6k attack, like, sure, that's great, but like, that's not going to happen every time. And sometimes you will counter out of your opponent swings 6k, you use leader effect, they go down to a 5k, you're still going to counter out with like a 2k. It's going to happen, right? Now, on the flip side, your opponent is going to lose out on some free 5k swings. I know, I get it. That's good for Shanks to have the card advantage too. And late game, when they want to play their 8, 9, 10 Dawn big bodies, and they would normally, like Enel, right? Always, and like Katakuri, right? They do the 5k swing with leader, the 5k swing with Pero, then they play a 10 cost Big Mom, right? Now, one of those swings gets like evaporated, right? Which is really nice, really, really strong. My thing is just like, I just don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to like stand up to like some of these other leaders, right? So Because of that, I'm putting him in need support. And what I mean by this is, like, if his support is really good, he'll have a good shot. He could be really, really good. I will fully admit if Shanks is really good when he gets support. I will fully admit that I was initially wrong because I thought he would be pretty weak and like underwhelming. I think my main thing, because I've thought about it a lot, and I'm like, I think we all just wanted something like undeniably really, really strong just right out the gate. But I do like this because it's kind of like the Enel of red, where it's like it's generically a good effect, where if he gets the right support, he could be extremely strong, right? Enel was always pretty good, but once he got 10 cost ace, and like in conjunction with like 9 cost Yamato and some of the other early game KO cards, like he became really good, right? So in my mind, that's how I see Shanks right now. Is he's like decent, has a pretty good generic, because we don't have an amazing generic red leader right now. So if Shanks could fill that role, I think it would be awesome. So I'm gonna, instead of just like being super sad about it, I'm gonna hold out hope for Shanks. So honestly, he has potential. He has potential, but he needs support, right? I think that's where I'm going to put it here. Luffy, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think I'm going to do this. The only one that I think is probably really good within a like meta vacuum is Blackbeard. Everyone else has potential to be like it could be this. Honestly, it could be this, but we don't know that. And because we don't know that, I'm just going to put everything right here. So Blackbeard's probably the best, but we don't know. Buggy, Luffy, Robin, tons of potential there. Shanks also has potential, but he really needs the support, and Lim is probably going to be kind of bad. That's it. I don't want to, this has already gone on probably longer than it needed to. So let me know what you guys think. Keep in mind, please keep in mind, this is just like a fun little predictive tier list. What do you think? What leaders are you excited for? I am the most excited for Robin. I really, really want to play Robin. It's going to be fun. And Shanks. I'm excited for Shanks too. The other ones seem cool, but they're not really my play style, so it'll just be like to have fun with on the sim or something. But I'll probably build out a Shanks and build out a Robin when the new set drops. But that's going to be it from me. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.